Welcome to Reality After Show coverage of The Challenge, the only challenge podcast out there that doesn't have a golden spoon up their asses. Tonight, we're talking episode 7. I'm your host, Dan Montchal, joined, as always, Alex Trias, Paulie Calafiore. Alex, Paulie, the three of us, we're more than what's left of Era 1.
I mean, look, guys, obviously I wasn't on the pod last week. I was mourning, I had some personal matters to attend to, but I didn't realize I wasn't just mourning my own family. I had to mourn the death of Era 1. God, if there was, in reality TV sense, if there was ever a time I was send these people out the pasture, it's this episode, except for Rachel, unfortunately. Rachel's this lone person that is going to somehow manage to survive, I feel. But everyone else, I'm just damn, I'm just sad. I'm sad for them.
Here's the thing, guys. Everybody cried at the end of Old Yeller.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to be an emotional ride as Era 1 goes out to pasture at this point. And I want to preface this by saying I love everybody from Era 1. I have no problems with anybody from Era 1, any OG, other than a few who I probably have never met and they've never met me. So my heart hurts, but then there's the cynical side of me that's just kind of if this was Era 4 shitting the bed this bad, it'd be over. It'd be over. It would be they're the worst thing to happen to the show. They don't belong here. Kick them out. CBS sucks. Big Brother sucks. Survivor sucks. They don't belong on our show. This is our show. And the fans would be eating it up alive. So once again, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to call out the hypocrisy of the fandom here. Sitting here being oh, this is so sad. What could producers do in order to make Era 1 be able to stay on longer? They could put them on All Stars where they belong. That's where they belong. They don't belong on the flagship anymore. They built it. They laid the foundation. But after decades, houses need new foundations. And, they need to go build the foundation of the retirement home in All Stars. And once again, I'm sure each of them might have a fire lit under their ass now to get in the shape that they could get in. And I'm not saying they're in bad shape, but for fuck's sake, Derek's got a broken knee. Darrell's throwing his back out. CT threw his back out. Mark threw his back out. People are coming away with injuries left and right on that team. They haven't won a single daily. Any elimination that they've won has had a question mark to it. Now, we're not going to dive into all of it, but, there's question marks in the fandom, right? Now, things have come out. Truths have been said. But what the fans are watching isn't really, they're not really accepting the truths that have been said. So if you really look at it, they've not only lost every daily, but they've essentially lost every single elimination they've been in, with the exception of Rachel. Rachel has come in, and she said it this episode, best shape of her life. You look at her face, I'm scared of her. She came here with a purpose to win and prove a point. And, I think she's the only one out of Era 1 that was oh, crap, I'm getting called for 40. Let me be a monster. Everybody else was yeah, party. Let's just go on and do our same old shtick. And it's this is the result of that. And the fans need to just come to the realization that everybody has a retirement age, guys. We cannot change the game because you want to see the OGs last longer. Tom Brady had to retire. Peyton Manning had to retire. Some of the greats have always had to retire. And, and to be honest, I think the OGs belong on All Stars because, they don't even know how to handle themselves on social media anymore. You know what I mean? They're acting like rookies. They're acting like rookies on social media. When I was afraid when I first came on the show to, even acknowledge fans. When they were actually adding me at stuff and people would just be oh, you're too invested in the show, loser. And, these OGs are, searching the internet far and wide to find anybody saying anything about them to comment on it. And, dude, it's dude, that's rookie those are rookie moves there. Like, you're acting like a newbie, but you guys are the ones who built the show.
No.
Rant over. Rant over.
You see, it's not.
I love all of them. I love
it's
all
not
of
a
them.
rookie move. It's old school. You just don't get it.
Oh, so it's only old school when the OGs do it, but when the other people do the exact
Exactly.
same thing, it's your life
clout
is the show,
chasing.
and you're a loser, and you're a rookie, and you're clout chasing. You know, if
Yeah.
Era 4 is getting dominated, they suck. They don't belong on the show. They don't do whatever. But Era 1 sucks, and it's like, yeah, we don't have to prove anything anymore. It's like, yeah, you're right. Just go to All Stars. Tom Brady didn't have to prove anything anymore, and guess what he did? He retired. He was like, you know what? 7 championships are enough. I don't want to embarrass myself anymore as I age.
Are we calling them Gronk then? Like the Gronk was great, and then he retired. He's like, you know what? I got one more in me, and he was not
No,
good.
because
at
he
the
got
end.
one more in him, and then he did it. But, like, the thing is, it's like, this has just been a terrible showing for Era 1. And I think
Yeah.
if they just rolled with it and weren't so butthurt about it, it would be fine. But they're getting butthurt about it. When they're getting smoked, it's like, hey, just call it what it is. Be like, hey, guys, this was a terrible freaking showing. We're embarrassed. We're sorry. We're going to get ourselves in shape, and we're going to come back and kick the new kid's ass. That would be cool. But they're
Yeah.
sitting there trying to, like, justify, like, the fact that they're sucking. It's like, no, just accept the fact that you suck this season. Better luck next season. They're
Oh,
down
absolutely.
to, what, 2 people?
2 people.
Down to 2 people.
Man,
So are you saying that you
one.
would? Yeah. Are you saying that you would rather have 2 good knees over Hart?
Yes. Like, dude,
Because Era 1 made that argument that they'd rather
Derek-
have.
Derek's an absolute animal. Absolute animal, right? All the respect in the world to him. If I was on his team, I'd pull him aside. Just like if my dog had rabies, and I'd be like, I love you to death. You got to go in, buddy. We're not risking Jarrell on this. He's got 2
Yeah.
good knees and heart.
Yeah.
and
You
his
know,
back
you
was
got
good.
heart. And you got 1 knee. You know, like, I think, once again, like, they're not only proving that physically they're not there, but they're also making, like, blunderous, like, mistakes. Like, that's a simple mistake to just, as a team, be like, hey, guys, like, if we're going to lose 2, we might as well set ourselves up for next week. Maybe we keep 2, you know? But it's like,
Yeah.
now Derek's going into next week. They're not winning the daily. He's got 1 knee. And if they come in last place, he's going into elimination. Now this kid has to win on 1 leg. Come on.
Look,
Who's
yeah,
also not great
it's-
at puzzles. So
Yeah,
it's not
he's
like
not
he
great
can
at
really
puzzles,
be bailed out by
and
that.
they haven't been giving people physical eliminations for a while now since the good old hall brawl there. But
Yeah, you know, speaking about the Hall Brawl, has anybody seen Theo on this season?
yeah, I
Since
saw
I
him on the
left?
milk box.
Yeah.
He's on, yeah,
Like,
he's on the
he's-
milk cartons everywhere. I can't find him until the end of the episode. He's like, "Yeah, I'll volunteer, one-eyed bandit." You
Hey,
know?
I'm here still. Yeah,
The
Theo.
dude's in the fucking showman's on the show, and you
Can't
can't.
get
And the
screen
only
time.
person who's getting airtime for that showman's is Olivia. It's just like a passing thing.
But Olivia isn't even really getting showtime there. I mean, you look at Era
No.
4, and every week that it goes by, it just shows
It's-
us of how
it's
much
Michelle
we
and
were robbed
Josh.
by you not being there, Paulie. Because Casey, invisible. Theo, invisible. Olivia, barely see her. Kyland, if he wasn't going in, we wouldn't have seen him this week.
Kylan
You
only
have-
shows up in the moments where he knows he can create screen time, as we've said.
You have Michelle and Josh, who's really well insulated, and I do want to give Michelle some credit just for the fact that, sure, she's hooking up with Devin, which is helping her out here, but it does put more credence when she got shit on all last season that she could never do this and go deep in a
Oh, yeah.
game with all the vets. Be like, nah, she's pretty good at this.
No, here's the thing. Michelle is surprising the hell out of me this season.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think her path would have been easier up until this point if I was still there, because she could have avoided certain situations that she's put herself in. But as far as a performance standpoint, she's not having freakouts. She's winning. You know, she won her elimination, and you know, she's kind of. She's not the same kind of, like, you know, whiny, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm enjoying Michelle this season. I know she's still getting a lot of thrashings, and I'll have my fair share of things to say to her when I see her face to face. But I'm enjoying what she's bringing to the table, because outside of bananas, right? Like, you have the Cara and Laurel blow up. You had me and Theo, and then it's really just been Bananas stirring shit with Michelle and Devin. Bananas this episode stirring shit with Ryan. And like, the thing is, but like, knowing Bananas at this point, I know he's literally doing this because he sits there in the house and is like, nothing's going on. Nobody is doing anything worth anything.
This is boring.
I got to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's doing it, but it's like, dude, the guy's he's pretty much carrying the show on his back. Unless you want to count, Corey complaining all the time about him always going in because he doesn't have relationships in the house, even though he voted out his own relationship in the first elimination.
Well, I got plenty to say about Corey and his situation when we get to it, but I agree. Like, Michelle impressing me, Bananas doing what he always does and tries to get that through line. Because you can clearly see what he wants to do as the viewer. You should clearly see what he wants to do if you're in the house, but people still sort of just let it all happen. But going back to the era one of it all, because I feel like it needs to be said, I think Heart of Hearts, the worst thing that ever happened to them was the theme of this season being what it was. Them being on a team with each other, where I feel they would have benefited, or at least some of them would have benefited more if the teams were intermixed from the start. You intertwine the eras, you force them to have to work with beyond just their era and not have this, because it's Era 1 that's going to truly be no, we're Era 1 strong and we will attack the new generation. Whereas the other ones are playing, as you can clearly see, there's too many interconnections between Eras 2 through 4 that Era 1's going to be boxed out, no matter if you were friends with them outside and done Challenge Mania shows with each other.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, while I was still there, Era 3 and Era 4 basically came together and was like, the old people shit on us all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're making a statement this season. And the statement has been made, and that bond was able to happen because we both looked at Era 2 and we're like, they're stacked. They're probably closer to the OGs than we are. And, when you're playing the game, you have that thought in your mind of are they thinking the same thing that we're thinking?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it as a way where it's Era 3 and Era 4 are we need to decimate this. And it's and this is why I didn't understand Tina's meltdown. Here's my thing, is when you get to a point when you're going into deliberations and you're begging for a break, it's time to go to All Stars for good.
Look.
Because that's embarrassing. Have some dignity. At least go in there and be like, hey guys, we're fucking Era 1. Put us in there. We're coming back. We're elimination beasts. But they went in there come on guys, give us a break. And first of all, you're talking to Jordan, probably the most savage. He's not going to look at anything other than the game. And he's sitting there, he's like, yeah, that's really nice, guys, but you can't offer us safety, so we're not gonna throw in Era 2, who could win, and then we could maybe deflect that on Era 4, or just deflect it on you guys again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Tina's freaking out for no reason.
Yeah, it's well, one, they already got their break. It's Derek's knee, but it's you're in a situation where immediately, just if I'm Tina or Era 1 in general, I know I'm going in because Naya's one of the people, and it doesn't even matter, Jordan. It could be literally anyone else on Era 3 there. Naya's one of those people, and Nehemiah's on the other side of that corner, and they are basically brother and sister.
And Tony's no longer there to force a deadlock.
Oh, you're so true. Yeah, Tony's not there to deadlock and go home. But it's Naya's never going to put her brother down there into the sand unless it was I don't even think heart to heart. I don't think if it was him and Kyland as the options. Oh, sorry, Kyland. I know we can fuck after. You're going down to the sand tonight. That would have been what it was.
Yeah.
Unless told otherwise. Nia loves to talk, so we might hear otherwise.
I don't think she would ever thrown Kylan down unless it was Nehemiah and Kylan up for options.
Right.
I think Nia's savage enough to be like, hey, Kylan, it is what it is. Like, we're fucking, but Nehemiah's a homie, so hope to come back. Otherwise, I got Josh in my back pocket.
Exactly. When you
got
got a
options.
rotation going.
She's got a roster, dude. She's got a roster.
Oh.
Well, Corey can't do it anymore, so we need someone to keep that flame
Well,
going.
because Corey's too busy complaining about the situations he puts himself in.
Like his children, or
No,
you mean
he's
the
actually
game.
not
My
even
bad.
talking about his children, but I love that burn. I love that burn.
Yeah. It's a good burn. It's, it's the funny, the problem, that I see, right, is, when you have players like Johnny and Jordan, even put Laurel in there, Rachel, CT, like the OGs kind of think this way. I think this way. Devin thinks this way. We're not thinking about what's right in front of us week to week, right? We're thinking about the chain reaction that's coming down the line. So, like, when I see these people on the show, like, complaining about, like, what they're met with and what they're left with, that just shows me their lack of ability to see down the pipe, right? Like, when Michelle's sitting there complaining about Josh not wanting to throw Laurel in and Bananas in. Well, Michelle, did you look down the line and realize, like, what was going to happen if Josh was on the team versus me on the team, right? And then same thing with Jenny. It's like, Jenny, Josh went up to you and Theo and said, the numbers. Paulie's got these numbers, so Theo, that's why you should call out Paulie. And now Jenny's in the position complaining about it. And it's like, did you not see the writing on the wall here? And
Right.
Corey's in that same situation for Era 3, where it's like he had Amanda that he could have stuck his neck out on the line for and tried to keep her, and he didn't. So, with that happening, now down the line, he's getting put in because, Josh returns the favor to Bananas and Laurel, so Corey gets put in, right? Now, Michelle's not going to pick Devin, so Corey's going to go in. Like, the lack of ability to see down the line is what's just insane to me. And if there was ever a season that these people are watching back and are being like, damn, this is how the Vacation Alliance fucks us, this is the season.
Oh, for sure.
I just don't understand how everyone wants to bitch about the Vacation Alliance. Not just the fans, but people in the game as well. Nobody actually is willing to take the shot to handle any of the repercussions. It's just like, okay, when you're put in power that you can shake the game up, you can take a big shot at this Vacation Alliance, but you don't want to do it because you're afraid of the blowback, then just as you were talking, I don't want to hear you bitching about it 2 episodes down the line when the numbers are no longer on your side.
Right. And then the bigger issue is when you get to power. Because, like, look, everyone that's on this season, for the most part, are people that get calls. They get calls. Doesn't matter if they go out early, go out late, they get the call. So you don't have to worry about longevity. You got your check. You got your appearance fee. But, like, if you want to attack the Vacation Alliance, you want to break the mold, unless you are someone who you can make a claim that Corey's kink is being in this position where he has to constantly be like, oh, I'm on the bottom, guys. Like, I have to keep fighting my way out, but I'm a fighter and an athlete, so I'm going to find my way through even though I don't know how to count to 6. Like, that, good on you. But, like, you have that shot, you take the shot immediately because you're taking a claim of, I don't give a shit. I'm here to make a move. I'm here to break up the game. I'm not doing what happened on season 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, whatever. Like, this is a new game. This is my game. Come and fight me. You two are going down now. Like,
yeah, and to your point, Alex, like, there has to be the thought of it, right? Like, what we've seen the past 2 episodes, right, with Bananas, and I love that they're actually showing his confessionals of, like, the insight into his thought process, because I feel like we've never gotten that before.
I agree.
Okay? So the insight of last episode where he's like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm trying to stir some things up because I'm seeing things down the line of what potentially could burn me with Devin and Michelle, he's immediately trying to start something there, right? Ryan hasn't nominated himself, hasn't been nominated. He calls it out to bring attention to it, to either force Ryan to put pressure on it, or causes the rest of the house to be like, damn, actually we haven't been paying attention to the fact that Ryan hasn't been nominated yet. We should nominate him. So it's like when you and he does that because he's like, well, what's the worst scenario that's going to happen? Either I don't do this and exactly what I'm seeing is going to happen down the line will happen down the line, or I do this and maybe I get out of it, right? And I think these people are lacking that aspect of things where it's like when you see what's going on, you have two options. Either I got to do something bold and I'm risking my game on the line. I could go home, but if I pull it off, I shake up the game, right? Like, and I say this all the time. Like when on War of the Worlds 2, people were trying to complain about, you know, the alliance that I created and how I flipped the game and did all that stuff. I was like, I can literally name the key moments where you guys fucked up. And key moment number one was right after we threw bananas in, Jordan, Tori, and Turbo were the three people making the decisions. They had the option to throw me into that elimination and just take the risk, and they didn't, right? Mm-hmm. Then right after that, when we throw Theo and Georgia down on a double, they could have switched to the USA and flipped the numbers on the USA and thrown me into every elimination after that, no matter what, and they didn't. So, like, these are key pivotal decision-making moments where, you know, I'm sitting there and I see it, and I'm just holding my breath being like, are they going to do this? Because this would be the smart decision. If they do this, like, I would understand it. But when they don't do it, I'm sitting there like, you're an idiot.
When is someone going to stop taking into who's volunteering into consideration? Because that's great. You want to volunteer. Era 3, Tori and Devin, you're going in. Era 2, Bananas and Laura, or whoever. Like, it's just, I don't understand.
It's honestly,
all
it
that
shows,
it is. It's more propaganda.
It also shows a mindset
of we're going to go in a rotation.
It shows a mindset that doesn't work too, like for like Corey's complaint of like, well, Devin, if you're next in our rotation, all you have to do is just order Michelle to pick you. Like, not like, oh, tell Michelle to, like, look, this is the situation, can you please pick me? If you, like, when you win elimination, can you please pick me, put me down, I'm trying to do this for my team. Because I think Devin articulated the argument exactly how a good player does, and also it was the logical conclusion of like, look, we're trying to build a relationship here. Like, there's no world where Michelle's like, oh, I'm going to risk all that in this time that we have together because you guys have a rotation. And also, Devin's good for my game. Corey, when's the last time we've talked? What are you doing to help my game? What numbers are you bringing?
Volunteer?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is another, you know, thing that I had, you know, Kylan's a new guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, once again, you know what the Vacation Alliance is. Tori's available to get picked, and you just let Avery do it, so you could do the big brother move of like, oh, she volunteered, no enemies made. It's like, dude, it's the challenge.
He like, literally did what you talked about a couple weeks ago, Paulie, of like these people who believe that they can like ride the coattails of this alliance and be like, well, all I have to do is like just follow them, and then I can maybe crack into the final. Then once I crack into the final, it doesn't matter because anyone, like, quote unquote, has a shot to win. But
here's all Kylan, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, here's all Kylan has done by playing the way that he's been playing so far this season. Every veteran watching this is clocking it, being like, okay, you've shown all your cards of how you play. You know, now you got to go early. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is clocking his stuff because of the way he's playing. And that's the thing about the challenge that people don't realize is you have to go in and you either have to change up your game every time or you have to be so good at what you do and how you do it. Because if you pull out all your party tricks like Kylan is doing, it's never going to work again.
Well, and he had the moment right there, if you want to tie it back together, to bring drama into it. All that was talked about, you know, the last 4 or 5 episodes of 39 and then coming into the season was Olivia betraying Nerys. And, you know, it knocked out him and essentially his best friend and put Nerys in hot water. He had Olivia right there when there was no volunteers. He could have said, Olivia, from what you did to me last season, you're going down there. But instead, he picks Jenny, thinking that he's somehow going to be safe because of he's cool with Michelle, who's okay with Olivia.
And Casey
doesn't make any sense.
They're all tag-alongs or integral parts of the Vacation Alliance, and Jenny is not. So, but yeah, and besides that point, like we also know why he picked Cara and not Laurel. So we.
Yeah, I mean,
he's all I'm saying. This boy's also trying to build his rotation. Like,
he is trying to build his rotation. It's not working, but he's trying hard. It's just, once again, you have moments to make good television. You have moments to make good moments, and you just let them pass by, and that's just it makes no sense because he's almost like, I now understand how Michelle and Jay were able to get away with what they got away with Kylan, Nerys, and Horacio, because Kylan's literally doing the same thing of riding the big alliance, and then what? If he gets fucked over again, he's going to be like, oh man, I couldn't see this coming. It's like, bro, it happened to you once, and you're following down right that same path.
Yeah, and maybe it's also just an overconfidence on his part at this point of like, well, besides like losing that like big like elimination against like Nerys, like I haven't lost anything. Like when it's 1v1, I haven't lost an elimination yet. So it's like, even if I get thrown in this, it's TV time. I get to have a big moment. I get to be there and be like, you're both champions. No matter who, I don't care who I go against because I know I'm coming back. Like, he gets to have that moment. So I almost feel like he's fine being the tag along at this point.
He's okay being the tool. He's going to be the tool. He's going to be all right with what Horacio was in 38, where they wanted someone out of the game, ride or dies. What do? They threw Horacio down there to do it. And that's exactly what he's going to end up being the rest of the season until he goes or there's some type of major shakeup in the game.
Absolutely.
Which we have to see a major shakeup, right? Just for the simple fact that, come on, Derek's definitely gone next week. I'm willing to say that Rachel can survive, but there has to be a shakeup after next week if an era's down to one person.
The only person who is going to shake things up in the game is probably Bananas. That's it.
And just because he can, and he's like, I'm bored. I see all these young guys working together. Let's get them fighting with each other now, so then I can go back sitting at the bar drinking my wine and watch the flames go.
If it gets out of the eras where it becomes more individual or a free agent, dirty 30 style that, it could be individual, could be random teams, but not set teams, he's going to set himself up well because who's going to win from the guy's side? We'll probably see a lot of Jordan. Jordan isn't going to come after him. Like, if on the women's side, he's going to have people like Rachel and Laurel that aren't going to come after him. So all he needs to do is get himself to the individual portion of the game. And I don't think he can go scot-free, but he can probably sail a lot more than what he currently is.
But also, I think his points of who he's going after are, like, not just targeted in the sense of, like, I just want to create people in front of me. Like, outside the Michelle and Devin thing, which is more so, like, get those two fight, get in Devin's head, get Eras 3 and 4 start infighting. Every other thing, it's like, he's fine with Era 1 going, and this is, like, a separate thing. Because they're attached to Cara and they weren't rocking with Laurel. Why are you targeting Ryan instead of targeting Derek, who's in the same situation? Derek's good with Laurel. Ryan hates Laurel at this point in the show and is siding with Cara. Like, he's also trying to, at the point that you move to this individual phase, eliminate the pieces of the strong players like Cara, who he knows he can't get out himself. So if other people can get these people targeted and they just so happen to go, then he has more control, he has more sway, he has an easier path.
Makes sense.
I mean, listen, this is why he's a 7-time champ.
Exactly. 7-time champ, goes to every final, What do you guys think of the
daily? He
daily?
does that, but he's able, here right before we get to the daily, but it shows why that Devin's pissed at him right now. I'm sure still at this point at the house. And he's still able to get Devin to laugh at their birthday parties. He smashes cake in his face. Like, that's something just about Bananas that even if you hate him, he's always to make light of the moment, and it's why he keeps skating by. But we can talk about the daily. The daily looked like it'd be awesome to do.
I would have wanted to do it easily.
Jumping off the side of that building?
Not the puzzle part. Fuck the puzzle. I don't care about the puzzle. I want to jump off a building.
Yeah, the jumping off of the building part would be cool. I mean, I definitely feel for Era 4 with having to, try and drag Theo up after
And
he
Josh.
jumped.
It seemed like they struggled more with Josh.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, like it was, it was one of those dailies where, body weight and strength play a factor, right? So like, when you look at the two teams who basically cruised, they're that combination of like everybody's strong and there's not really anybody that like throws off the waiver of like people being able to pull them up. You know what I mean? I'm shocked that Era 4 came in last place, to be honest.
Oh, I'm shocked too, but like also let's call it how it is. Eras 2 and Era 3 are more lean muscle, similar heights outside of like Aviv, like similar heights, so it's like more easily transferable. Like Era 4 is a bunch of strong people, but that muscle weighs more than fat. It's like muscle. And when you only are lifting, you're not doing like the cardio with the muscle to keep that endurance of muscle strength going. You're going to get one good pull in. Like Josh going first was almost like a detriment. Get like the smaller people done first. Or like, I don't know. It was just like when you have both him and Theo as like the two biggest guys left in the season there, it's like you might, like if I was Michelle, I would have also been like, okay, well, maybe Derek's cable just like cuts off, and they lose by that like point. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Theo's doing a lot of lifting outside of stuff to his face because he's been packing on the weight.
He is packing on the weight. He's just sitting in that house vaping and not being entertaining after I left.
Dude's just crouching in the corner of his kitchen trying to cook his meals.
That's the other big story is you called it out earlier, Paulie, of just have we seen Theo since we've left, is we think of Theo coming on to both the War of the Worlds, and he was an entertaining character that fans enjoyed watching. And then he came back for World Championships, and Alex and I covered it. You couldn't tell he was there. He was super boring. It was like, okay, that was weird, but, we still want him to come back because we remember the good times. And we get episode 1 where you have your blow up with him. And does Theo need you to become relevant and good TV on the challenge? Because that's what it seems like.
I think a lot of people need me as a catalyst in there. Like I personally feel like I can make Casey entertaining. You just gotta, if I'm in there long enough, just watch what I do. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to give a call back. I'm going to give a call back from a previous Paulie. But it makes sense. Every Batman needs their Joker. It's like, why doesn't Joker ever take the final blow at Batman? Because Joker also realizes, like, I need this. Like, I need this. Like, what we got going is good. Like, we're creating, look at this drama. Look at everything that's happening around us. Everything's in flames. This is fantastic. Like, listen,
go down the line. Go down the line, all right? As soon as I'm gone, Kyle was boring as hell for 3 seasons in a row, all right? Josh was boring, other than crying for, the seasons after that. Theo, gone, right? Like, Nani decides to start dating Casey, becomes boring. You know what I mean? Like, all of these things, like, Tori, Vacation Alliance, like, Jordan stayed entertaining, but it's like, that's Jordan. Like, Jordan, I feel like he's put himself in a position because of how good he is where, like, just having him there as a presence is enough.
Yeah. It's very, like, CT almost. It's like that CT aura of, like, you're in the house and, like, that's enough. Like, you don't need to be doing all this entertaining stuff because, like, you have the track record now. And all of us know, like, oh, we'll wait. We'll wait for you. Like, we're fine. We'll wait for you to have your moments. Other people haven't had that, like, we're not giving them that courtesy because they don't have the background to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Hey, you go on a season and make Casey entertaining and relevant. that might be worth at least half a challenge win right there in itself, because that's something that seems like the
Look,
impossible.
you want her entertaining? Put her in the sand consistently.
I guarantee you, the next season that I do, I will make Casey entertaining. I will make her entertaining. I will do it. I promise. I promise there will be a personality that comes out of her.
We're gonna
Let's
hold
go.
you to that.
Love
We're gonna
that.
hold you to that. We'll wait for that next season, and Dan and I are just gonna be like, let's see
He
what
delivered.
happens.
That's it. You know, just got to not go home early. That's it.
We believe in you. We believe in you. We'll get some training in. We got you.
Yeah.
We know what the comments were giving you all that hype. Also, we got this.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. A link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
So going back to the daily, I mean, yeah, Era 1 sucked, not surprising. Era 4 sucked, a little bit surprising. And I mean, Era 2 and 3, the only question mark was Aviv going to be too short to be able to get a flag? There was the only
I mean, I questioned it.
She's short.
She impressed me.
Yeah.
You know, she laid out for that flag.
She got as far as she could possibly reach. She did, and she got it done. Aviv continues to impress me. Me, still hopeful that she gets her reunion boobies. That's all I'm like. That's what we're working for here.
You know, I'm praying for that win. You know, I think we all deserve a little bit.
Yeah,
of
if
reunion
it's not Era 4, as we know, Paulie's like wants an Era 4 to take it home. Like, I'm all for reunion boobies getting the win. Okay, so Aviv, keep doing the great work.
That's where my golden spoon's at. I'm putting all of it on that.
Well, it's not in Banana's
I don't know where
ass.
that line came from. I mean, the line was hilarious from Ryan, but I was just like, a golden spoon. I don't know where.
It just
I don't know
came
where
out
that's
of
coming
nowhere.
Golden
I
spoon
almost
up your ass.
I have to think that there's some type of line with the golden spoon, and he got it mixed up with the horseshoe, and somehow that's how it came together.
You've been born with a silver spoon in your mouth, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
for, like
Yeah,
if you were
so he
if
just
you were
got
born
that.
privileged.
He just put a little bit of a Ryan spin on it and was
Yeah,
like,
he was like, you got 7 rings.
Yes.
You smelted it into a fucking spoon. You shoved it up your ass, which you want TJ to suck all the time, Banana. So, like, how about that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Ryan. I love Ryan and his kickbacks.
Ryan's confessionals have been spot on.
And that's what he's here for. Like, he's not going to be the guy, like, when Bananas is, like, complaining, like, who's providing the least in our challenges? It's Ryan. Like, yeah, we all know this. Like, we all know, like, it's not that for a lack of trying, but, like, Ryan's here to be a confessional king, you know? Like, and his are actually, like, funny. Like, it's him, like, stoking it for TV, be a little gangster in there, but also it's just, like, I genuinely believe this is how he would also be to your face if you pissed him off, and
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. I love, listen, he's a Jersey boy, right? Mm-hmm. We get a little spicy.
Yeah, that northeastern blood, I love it.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I think it also came as no shock that only one person pulled down the wrong flag in this challenge, and it was Tina.
She was just over enthusiastic. She was ready.
Era 1.
Someone had to do it. It was either that or
Listen.
Derek just died on the side of the building. I think we're the only two options.
I'm happy that they built the show and that they're the backbone on the show, because that's the only thing that they can fall back on this season. Because if I'm a new viewer that just comes in and is watching this, I'm like, why are these people here?
You don't know
like,
who they are.
Like, if you take away the people who know who they are,
Right.
and you just take a new viewer coming in and looking, the first thing they're going to say is, why are all these older people here? And then now in episode 7, they're going to be like, why were these old people ever here?
I think they're at a spot where a lot of us are at, where we're like, okay, because the challenge always does its switch ups. It always does 1 to 2 switch ups during the season. We're like, are we hitting it now? Like, they got 2 people. Well, they got 1.5 people left. Like, to be clear, like Rachel, because I know Era 1 looks for this stuff. Like Rachel, I fully believe if they just made Rachel a 1-person team, that she could outlast some of these people in it. But it just doesn't work for the format anymore. So they have to switch it up.
Rachel's the outlier there. Everyone else there is the meme of just like, stop it, they're already dead. Like, that's Era 1 minus
I
Rachel.
don't think they expected one team to get decimated in the way that Era 1 has been decimated.
No, I truly believe they thought it would be more well-balanced across the side. They're like, oh, well, yeah, Era 2 women are strong, but we gave them like some people that aren't as like knowingly strong. Era 4, they have all the drama with each other, like, you know, like they had all this. Era 3 is going to be good. They're like, Era 3 is going to be good. They're going to be fine. They have all these good players. They're going to work together. And then they're like, oh, let's pray to God the OGs just can get like in the middle of the pack for a little bit.
Well, now you sit here and you question, like, would that team have been different if Mark and Katie stay Elimination 1?
The answer to me is no.
Fair.
I like maybe Mark. I don't know if like Katie versus Anissa. Like Anissa at end of the day had more political pool than Katie ever would have in that environment. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
and Mark at least you could be like, well, Mark and Bananas are good. Mark's hung out with a lot of the eras.
Mark's a godfather. Nobody was going to
The
talk.
Yeah.
the only thing that I'd just ask, and it could just be a flat out no, is because Mark is the godfather. He's so revered. Is he someone that the rest of the team listens to because it seems like they can't get on the same page? That can Mark be that one voice that leads them to just not coming in last all the time?
I mean, listen, one player could be the difference maker, right? Like if Era 3 doesn't have Jordan, they're not even contenders for winning. I'm
Right,
gonna just be
they're
honest.
fighting for like third place, second
that
place
good
at best.
at leading
Yeah.
a team.
Yeah, it would have been between Mark and CT a lot, which then you would like question who would actually take like the leadership role there, because like CT doesn't give a shit. But
Yeah.
you have all that stuff. I just think ultimately, Heart of Hearts, this was not set up for Era 1 to ever truly succeed unless like all the competitions were like Era 1 adjacent, like everything having to do with being in an RV and driving a Rutabaga. Like outside of that.
Listen, if Era 1 just wants to be characters, like just bring back the Real World and Road Rules reunion shows.
I'd be for it. I'd be for that. Let them
live
cook.
there.
Let them do all that shit. But it's like, also I do think they also ironically hurt from not having more physical elimination types. Because that's like more so what they're like. Most of them, I would say, like Darrell, both of the eliminations against Kylan, they don't touch gloves. They don't do anything against each other.
Exactly.
It's individual.
We saw last week, Brad only has one speed, and it's 1,000,000 miles an hour. There's no finesse to his game.
Just launching
Yeah.
cannons, dude.
But like, I'm not even saying like a physical in that sense. Like even like the Jordan elimination last season, where like they're constantly having to run like back and forth up ramps and stuff like that. Like something where it's like you could end up bumping into someone, you could get someone off balance a little bit. Like
or
they
Jarrell's
didn't have
cardio
that.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him that shot.
Exactly.
This is where I am happy about this episode is because, Paulie, you and I were talking about this last week of what's going on with these challenges and eliminations because, the balloon challenge, Era 4 somehow ended up winning despite the fact that they finished third. I was at least happy we got to this week where we obviously didn't see the times, but it was really straightforward of this is what you need to do to win the daily. Whoever has the best time wins. And while the elimination may not have been the best thing in the world, it was really straightforward. First person to finish wins. So if we could just keep that track going of making it easier to follow, that'd be great.
I like the straightforward ones.
Yeah.
Straightforward, no questions asked, and it is what it is, right? Like, like if Darrell didn't go down to the sand and like try and smooth out the sand,
My gosh.
to make a math equation, like I've never seen that before. I've never seen it take more than one swipe to smooth out sand.
I was so confused by that, and like so I watched like the extended version that they have on like Hulu the next day, and they were like saying he was saying like he truly just thought he had a bigger lead than what he did, but he even says in there, he's like, I'm so mad at myself because like I shouldn't have even went down there, like I literally should have just did it in my head and done it because it was just 760 times 2 or whatever, 790 times 2.
It was
760 times 2.
The fact that it ended with a 0 and you needed to, like, that makes it so simple. You want to put, 764 or whatever, does it make that much of a difference? No, but when it ends in a 0, that it's 760, like, all right,
That's
700 times 2, like, that's simple math.
That's like your basic math. When there's the 0 at the end, you take the 0 off and you add it to the end, and you just do 2 times 76 and add the 0.
I mean, it's literally what Devin said when it was Michelle and Tina going. He's like, it's literally just addition. Like, it's just adding, and then you multiply at the end. Like, it's not even like you're going through the motions. Like, oh, you have to add here, and then you have to divide this and subtract this, and then like whatever, add a fraction or whatever. It's like, no, it's literally like, oh, it's 65. Okay, plus 609. Okay, I can do that. Like, that's fine. Like, just do it as you go.
Yeah.
It's
It's like Kylan had the good strategy of like solving the math problems as you went, because like you're pulling polls out, right? So like you're able to sit there and be like, okay, first number, all right, polls. Second number with whatever thing it is, okay,
More
here's the
polls.
answer to that, more polls. Next one, here's the answer to this. By the time you get to the last thing, you should be able to just pull the polls out, push it aside, go to the thing and undo it. Like there's no need for the
Especially with it being so straightforward. Like, because let's be fair, challenge math is always, for the most part, straightforward because they don't follow real math rules. They're always just like, you follow the line. Just follow the line, you're good. Like, just add times. Don't worry about anything else here. And when it's only one symbol, then it's just like, okay, do that. Like, okay, it's 609. Say it out loud if you need to. I don't give a shit. Just do whatever you need to do while you're moving the polls. Be like, it's this number. It's this number. Like, moving a poll shouldn't erase the number out of your head. Unless you're Corey.
Unless you're Corey. Yeah.
Corey wouldn't have even seen the numbers. He's just
Corey
there, just
would have been confused why he
ripping all
couldn't
the
go through the
polls
wall.
wrong way.
Like, let's be real. Like, I love Corey. He's a goofball. But I'm like, dude would have just been smashing against the wall instead of realizing he needed to move the poles.
He would have tried to punch through the poles.
Exactly. He's like, oh, I
And
thought
he
this
may
was
have gotten
this is
through.
the wall comp where you punch and then you climb. Like, that's what we're doing here, guys.
That's it.
Idiots.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I am, so far when it comes to these episodes, it's like, when are we going to start to see anybody go against the grain of the Vacation Alliance? Because they've been coasting. They've only lost Anissa at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Anissa's the only one that hit eliminations multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Like the nucleus of Devin, Tori, Jordan, Josh,
And
Casey haven't
Bananas.
even smelled. Yeah, bananas haven't even smelled hitting the floor at all.
Yep. And all of them outside of Devin
You're
had a
7
chance.
episodes in, which means 7 eliminations has happened, and not once was somebody targeted.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what makes it nuts is how long do we go before we see, let's say, Jordan, Bananas, Tori, Laurel in an elimination? Because it could be a while. and all of them should have seen at least one by now if people were being smart.
Well,
Just
it
based
all,
upon
it all
track
depends
records.
on who's paired with who. Like, if they keep pairing Laurel with Bananas, it's not going to be anytime soon. I think if you separate it and you have Laurel paired with literally any other guy, like, there's an opportunity there where she gets put down there in a world where Jordan isn't the decision maker in that room.
There's a way to create the rotation where you could talk to everybody who's not in the
Oh, for
vacation
sure.
lines and be like, hey, whoever goes down, whoever wins, you literally got to put Tori and Devin as the targets and Laurel and Bananas as the targets and, you know, Josh and Casey as the targets. That way, regardless of the outcome, the probability of it not being a matchup is if the one team that has no vacation alliancers as the targets come in last place, you know, or, you know, are in the middle and then obviously, you know, are going to get voted in. But there's still the chance of them going home. And, and it guarantees at least one of them are hitting the floor. Guarantees.
I agree. And that's why it's like the only way that ever works is where, like, you know, it doesn't matter who you put in Era 1. Era 1's losing. Okay, cool. You put them there, and then you do exactly what you said, Paulie. It's like you draw up where if you're not in that vacation alliance, 6 vacation alliance people are being put up so that it doesn't matter. One of them's winning, and then they have to decide between 2 other of the vacation alliance, and then let that be the infighting that starts up like, oh, we're starting to see the hierarchy now, and I don't like it because I'm the one who's supposed to be up here, not you. And let that go. Let that go.
So-
Feed it. Give it the kindling. Do that Bananas technique of just like poking that bear. Poke the bear, and then run like 50 feet the other way so that they fight
nobody
someone.
wants-
You mean I was going to say, so just showing that Josh that he's on the bottom again?
Dude,
Yeah.
nobody. But nobody wants. There's not been a single moment. You see it in the confessionals. Nobody has done, you know, the Bananas move where it's like, if I'm in there and it gets past week 3 or elimination 3, and none of them have touched the sand yet, I'm in the house. I'm on the bus, being like, "Yo, we gonna let these people run this game again?" Like, none of them have seen an elimination yet. They're all here. They're all hanging out. If you go down into an elimination and you win, make them the targets. Not a single person has done it.
Right, and it's like you need to have those vocal people like you in there where, like, because if I'm in that house, I'm spending that whole time having whatever conversation I have, and I don't even care if they see me doing it, where I'm just like, look, like, what are you here for? Are you here for your screen time? Because you're not getting it, I can tell you that. Are you here to show out that you're a great performer? You're not showing that right now either. Do you want to win? Well, here's your opportunity to win. Get these people out of here. They can't win everything. Just keep sending them down there. Eventually, they'll lose at something, and then you now have a better chance of winning. It's not even like an equal percentage. Like, your percentage raises more by sending these people out.
Well, they keep, I don't know, this is probably 3-4 episodes this season where they've made a point of pointing out that Corey and Nehemiah are good. They've both had the opportunities to throw people in, and they haven't. It's just like, that should be your sounding board there. Both of you feel like you're on the outs. How do you let this happen 2 times in a row, back to back, where it was Nehemiah and Corey could have went against the grain, and they just didn't?
Are the lights on?
And you
And
know
it's
what?
not just
It
the
was a
2 of
great
them,
play-
it's plenty
it
of
was
the
a
other
great
women
play,
as well, and other guys in the house, but we
Yeah.
keep getting that pairing specifically.
Well,
When are they going to do something? Because I don't see where they're ever going to have a chance to have the numbers to do it outside of, all right, we won our 3rd elimination. We can throw someone else. in.
Corey's a different beast there. Like, Corey should be doing that and having no fucks attitude. Like, I think Bananas is playing Nehemiah very well. And I think this episode helped highlight that because Bananas wasn't just making it about himself. He was like, yeah, this pisses me off, but it should piss you off too, Nehemiah. Like, why are these 2 guys getting to skate by every single round? It's just going to be me and you tag teaming this until, unfortunately, one of us leaves, and then it's just going to be us. Like, they're not going in. And so, like, I feel Nehemiah in that sense is like, okay, like, yeah, I'm good there. And then you have Naya in his ear too, and her connection, which is Jordan. So then you're like, like, he at least gets to pick Jordan every once in a while because Jordan will just raise his hand and be like, fuck it, I'll do it because y'all are too scared of me anyway to actually put me in.
Because Jordan knows that he has zero shot of actually going into elimination.
Yeah, exactly.
He's playing great.
Do we think that Wes's influence has maybe, had Nehemiah not really be looking at Bananas as a target?
It could be that. It could be some of the all-stars of it all. Like, whenever there was all-stars events, like, Bananas was always there with Nehemiah and Mark Long and all of them, too. So, like, it's who you're familiar with, and I think Nehemiah's at a point in this game where he's, like, a beggars can't be choosers approach, where he's like, I don't have all these connections. Like, I have Naya, that's cool. Me and Corey are building something, that's cool. And I think he sees his team, he's like, I actually do need Bananas, because if Bananas not here, I will absolutely be every other person for Era 2 until we switch.
He's similar to an Era 1 in the sense that we haven't seen him on the flagship since Rivals. That was like season 21.
Well, according to Nehemiah, we've never seen him since Rivals.
Yeah. But if you just look at that, he hasn't done a flagship, and we barely, sure, he does know Naya, and he's run into a few people, but he really hasn't done any shows with anyone from Era 4, and he only knows a handful of people from Era 3. So I think it just comes down to is sometimes it's better to play with the devil you know rather than the one you don't, and that just happens to be what Jonny is. And if you add in the fact that they're both all right with Wes, well, Nehemiah's always been cool with Wes, but Bananas and Wes's newfound relationship, that I'm sure that plays a part in it as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Something to think about.
It is.
Predictions for the next episode.
Predictions for the next episode. Derek goes home after trying to bulldog again and like puff up his chest because he's injured.
Or in the elimination?
They shouldn't let him do the elimination.
He will make it to the elimination. They'll make it a puzzle so that he can't hurt himself anymore, but he will try to find a way to hurt himself again.
Oh, no, that would be so good. A Corey Derek puzzle.
I think
you just start showing that at 15 minutes into the episode.
You beat me to it. I think we're getting an Era 3, Era 1 showdown. I think Corey beats Derek and Rachel beats Avery, and then we're going to leave the episode with TJ being like, hey, things might be different next time you see me, trail to like a trailer for what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to. You can't have just Rachel by herself.
You don't know. Rachel might fight for it.
That would kind of be funny to like make it be that way for, I don't know.
Yeah,
Imagine if Rachel's just like, she wins the elimination, TJ's saying the game's changing, and she's like, hold up, let's do one more. I will go in, and if I lose, I'll go against the woman and the guy. I don't give a shit. I'll beat both their asses. And like, imagine the moment you can get there. That would just be fun. That would just be fun seeing Rachel just like go full like 3,000 on people.
I mean,
yeah, it would be good.
I'm convinced that's why they had the challenge this week, was simply because they knew it would take a while to pull people like Josh and Theo up, because producers were like, shit, we have to come up with a new strategy for the game now, because we clearly can't wait till episode 10 like we wanted to, because you see the writing on the wall that they're like, well, if we lose both of them this week, Derek's pretty much dead man walking at this point, so what the hell do we do to start planning future challenges, like dailies? I guess eliminations you keep the same, but you have to switch up the dailies somehow, because you need to turn it into an individual game, or where it's changing every week.
And
100%.
And if you're all the players watching back this season, episode by episode, like outside the few that can be impressed with their games, because like it's the vacation line speaks for itself. They're doing great. Everyone else though should be taking notes and being like, I don't like how this looks. I don't like how this hurts my image. This hurts my like ego. Seeing these people get to play our asses season after season. And maybe 41, we should switch something up. Will we? Probably not.
Maybe. I don't know. What do you think's more embarrassing, Era 1's performance or the fact that they got outplayed by the Vacation Alliance?
I'll say their performance, because like the Vacation Alliance at least is like more of like a known commodity now of like they found ways to succeed in different iterations of people. I want to see them broken up and like in seasons without each other, but You
We'll
know?
see.
I'm going to go with the answer of it's more embarrassing getting played by the Vacation Alliance, because a lot of them have talked shit that they wouldn't allow this to happen if they were on a season. And so
true.
many of them were on the
Coming
season
full circle here.
and didn't do a damn thing about it.
True.
Yeah, you're right, because if we did switch the roles, it would have been Era 1 getting to pound their chest, going like, see, we told y'all, like, we are what's good for the show, not just for the ratings, but how the game is actually meant to be played. Y'all are losers, like, you guys never were able to, you'll forever be in our shadows, like, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it's all love here. Like, just be better.
Be better.
Take it how you want it. Take it how you want it.
I think that's a good note to end it on, guys. Just be better.
Just be better.
Be better, and we'll try to keep being better every single week.
Yeah, that's perfect. Alex, Paulie, any last thoughts? Anything to plug?
I can't wait to truly mourn the official death of the Era 1 team next week, minus Rachel. But outside of that, I'm curious to see where this
ceremony
goes.
next week?
We'll figure it out.
Like, should we wear all black?
I'll get some candles
Yeah,
lighted
I'll
up in
dress
the
up.
background.
Yeah, we'll actually start next week with the official death of Era 1.
We'll all be in black. We'll all be
Yeah.
in black. It'll be beautiful. So Era 1, tune in. I'm gonna give you some good scripture.
That would be that. Listen, I got the Bible. All right.
I'll
Well,
find my
yeah,
Torah somewhere. Can't take us home
That's
before
that's
I
perfect.
lose it.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for us. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll be back at our normal night of Wednesday nights. I get these are being pushed out a little bit delayed right now. We're going to see if we can switch that up. But we will be getting these episodes out Wednesday night. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the bell, like, and subscribe. That way you get notified every time we go live. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at, make sure to rate and review us 5 stars. And we can say now in the past week that this show, we're kind of getting into the 21st century finally. We do have a show Instagram account. Please go ahead, follow that. It's at Challenge After Show. Go give us a follow on there. We are planning some giveaways and some fun stuff that's coming up. But we'll keep you posted on that. But as always, that's Paulie, that's Alex, I'm Dan, and we will see y'all